So here are 5 pitchers that the Yankees should acquire in trades this offseason. You got a couple starters, a couple of relievers, but with free agency looking like it's going to be really expensive on the starting pitching end, these guys could represent good fits for the Yankees, and the Yankees seem to represent good fits for these teams in trades as well. The Yankees have the pieces to facilitate it, and I don't think any of these teams are really going to be much of a contender, with the exception of one. This next couple of seasons, I still think they represent good fits for the Yankees. So with that, make sure you hit the subscribe button if you like videos like this. If you want to know all the breaking news this offseason, hit the notification as well. And so that way you're fed in on everything going on this offseason, hot stove trades, free agency, everything. Anytime something new pops up, I put a video out. So I don't want you to miss any of it. And if I've earned it, make sure you hit the like button as well. So, and I greatly appreciate them all. But let's get to this list. Number 1. Frankie Montez. Okay, yes, he's somebody that's been talked about recently because he's on the same team, the Oakland A's, as Matt Olson, who the Yankees are apparently trying to trade for. And, there's a lot of chatter about that, but right now it's all speculation as far as we know. And I've said this before, the longer they wait without a deal happening, I think he gets closer to potentially moving to Tampa or Boston, or maybe even a team like the Phillies, who would be bold enough with Dave Dombrowski over there to go get a guy like this. He's the type of guy that would do it. So, but if they can't pull off an Olsen trade, then Frankie Montez seems like a logical piece too. He's 28. He's got 2 more years until he's free agent, and he's going to get more expensive. And the A's are not in the business of paying guys who, once they get the free agency. So he line up nicely. The Yankees are already a kind of a trade fit because of Olsen and some pieces. So again, maybe they can do a Montez trade without Olsen. So who knows? But I love both of them, obviously. But that said, he's not a free agent until 2024, so he's got 2 seasons left. He was 13-9 this year. He's 28 years old, by the way. 3.37 ERA, 187 innings pitched with 207 strikeouts. Okay, he was 6th in the Cy Young voting this year in 2021, and again, he's 28 years old, so he's right in his prime. He's a good right-handed pitcher, with a good arm, and he would slide right in to be a number 2 here for the Yankees behind Cole, and they need a guy like this. Okay. Righty or lefty, they need a guy like this to help stabilize this rotation. They have too many rotation issues every year. So, and again, I've said this, I think they need 2 pitchers, but he'd be an ideal one to come over here. So he's number 1. Number 2 is Aaron Bummer. He's a reliever, but a versatile one from the lefty side. Can throw short innings, can throw long innings. But the good thing about him, he's not only 28 years old, but he's not a free agent until 2027. He's a controllable piece for the next 5 years, and he's under a reasonable contract. The most he'll make in these next 5 seasons is $7.5 million. So that is a very affordable piece. Moving on, because Zac Britain doesn't look like he's coming back, and then they might be without Aroldis Chapman the following year because he's a free agent 2023. Having a guy like this can come in and slide right into that bullpen, which is already strong, and give them another lefty versatile piece. Okay, who can throw multiple innings, which the Yankees also need. They need a couple guys who can throw multiple innings to bridge the gap from starters to the 1-inning guys. He represents a perfect fit for them. And he was 5-5 with a 3.51 ERA with the White Sox, 75 strikeouts and 56 innings pitched, so he averages more than a strikeout an inning. And again, his versatility is key. And he showed up in the playoffs. He pitched pretty well in the playoffs. So he's number 2. Number 3, I've mentioned this guy before, is Zach Gallen. He is a starter. He's from the Arizona Diamondbacks, a right-handed pitcher. He's 26 years old. Again, another kind of young, prime year type of guy. I think it's going to be harder to get guys that are younger than 26 who have a lot of controllable years. So I think these guys are more gettable pieces. And Arizona doesn't seem to look like a contender. But this is a way to potentially get him without having to get Ketel Marte. So without going after Ketel Marte. So they can still line up for a good trade. Marte and Gallen, I'd be fine with. Gallen and Carson Kelly, I'd totally be fine with too. I mentioned that the other day, actually. But he's 26. His stats are a little off because the team is not very good. But he's 4-10 with a 4.30 ERA this past year. But he's got a career 3.46 ERA. So he is solid. And I think getting an opportunity to work with Matt Blake over here, I think Blake would make some adjustments with him, and he would make him better. So just like he did with Jameson Taillon. So he did, and a lot of other pitchers in the Yankees rotation and bullpen. So he'd be a good back-end rotation guy too. Maybe 3 or 4 guy, because the Yankees still have question marks. And again, they always have starting rotation problems every year. So and obviously recently bullpen issues too. So the more pitching depth, the better for the Yankees. So he's number 3. Number 4, Scott Barlow. He's actually pretty underrated, but he's a power right-handed arm from the relief end with Kansas City Royals. So he's also got 3 more years of control until he's a free agent in 2025, arbitration years. He's 5-3. 2.42 ERA this year, 74 innings pitched with 91 strikeouts. He's also a good strikeout guy. which the Yankees love. He's got a 3.46 career ERA, and he's 28 years old. So get him in right in his prime years, and adding him as another valuable piece. Could you imagine if they got Bummer and Barlow? That would be a nice, really, really nice addition to the bullpen. Really, really, it would really, really do well. And I'm glad they protected Steven Ridings, but these two guys would be really, really solid additions. And lastly is John Means from the Baltimore Orioles. Yeah, he's their ace, and I know it's a division rival or a divisional team, so it would probably cost a little bit more, but Baltimore's not contending anytime soon. So he's 28 years old. He's not a free agent until 2025 as well, so he's got 3 years of control. And he was 6-9 this year with a 3.62 ERA on a crappy team. He also threw a no-hitter this year, so he has the ability to dominate. He also has a career sub-4 ERA in the American League East. And then again, a lefty pitcher with a big arm, so he can come over here and be a number 2 or number 3. Could you imagine if they got Montez and Means? It would be nuts. So if they got Barlow and Bummer, it would be nuts. But these guys represent, or one starter and one reliever. These guys represent gettable guys, in my opinion. And instead of paying $150 million to a guy like Ray, who I still think would be a worthwhile risk, if they decide to not do that, or not paying $100 million to like Carlos Rodon or Marcus Stroman or somebody like that, or Kevin Gausman, these guys also represent solid fits too. And again, the Yankees have multiple holes, so they're going to have to make multiple moves. They've created more holes for themselves than they've addressed so far. So, but pitching is definitely at the forefront here, as well as a bunch of other positions too. But they can't ignore pitching. These guys, to me, are 5 ideal guys that they can go for in any capacity, whether it's 1 or 2 of them or 3 of them or whatnot. They're gettable. So you let me know what you think. Is there anybody else that you can think of that would represent a fit that's not going to bankrupt the farm or bankrupt their payroll, which is obviously able but very, very stingy nowadays? So let me know. Let's get into this.